Police in London's Mitre Square found Catherine Eddowes' disfigured body early on September 30, 1888, with her neck slit and left kidney removed. Eddowes was the second prostitute to be found dead in that area of the city within an hour, and her murder bore the gruesome hallmarks of Jack the Ripper, a serial killer who had been tormenting London's East End for weeks. In 1888, Jack the Ripper plagued London, killing at least 5 women and dissecting their bodies in bizarre ways, showing that he was well versed in human anatomy. Jack the Ripper is still one of the most notorious crimes in both England and the rest of the globe, since the perpetrator was never found or even identified. The East End of London experienced a prostitution epidemic in the 1880s and 1890s. East End residents suffered from subpar housing conditions, low wages, and a lack of employment as a result of an influx of immigrants from Eastern Europe. Many people in this area turned to criminality, including sex work, as living conditions deteriorated. The fact that Jack the Ripper targeted simple targets in their line of work is probably why he chose his victims. The East End was rife with criminal activities, and the ordinary populace largely dismissed and ignored it. From August 7 to September 10, 1888, all 5 of the murders that have been linked to Jack the Ripper took place in or close to the Whitechapel neighborhood of London's East End, all within 1 mile of one another. A number of additional homicides that took place around that time have also been suspected to be the work of Leather Apron, another nickname given to the murderer. The murderer allegedly wrote many messages to the London Metropolitan Police Service, often referred to as Scotland Yard, mocking officers and speculating about future killings. The nickname Jack the Ripper comes from a letter that was possibly a fake and was released at the time of the crimes. Numerous investigations have claimed to have conclusive proof of the horrific killer's identity, but the identity and motivation of the perpetrator remain a mystery. Over the past few decades, a number of ideas regarding the identity of Jack the Ripper have been put forth, including accusations against the renowned Victorian painter Walter Sickert, a Polish immigrant, and even the grandson of Queen Victoria. More than 100 suspects have been mentioned since 1888, which has added to the mystery's extensive legend and spooky entertainment. In addition to killing people with knives, Jack the Ripper also dismembered and disfigured women, removing parts like kidneys and uteruses, and his acts appear to show a disdain for all women. The Jack the Ripper murders. Although Jack the Ripper was suspected of committing numerous homicides in the Whitechapel neighborhood, it is generally accepted that the serial killer is only responsible for 5 homicides that share a similar nature. Jack the Ripper is thought to have killed Mary Ann Nichols, Annie Chapman, Elizabeth Stride, Catherine Eddowes, and Mary Jane Kelly. All 5 of the women were brutally killed. Jack the Ripper was known for making throat and abdominal incisions, which helped explain why he was able to immediately instill dread and terror in the neighborhood. Police put a lot of effort into finding the murderer, but in vain. The Jack the Ripper case was especially noteworthy since it was the first of its type in that it sparked a media frenzy. The media was quick to latch onto the killer's story, which significantly contributed to the spread of dread and terror around the murders. A man with some background in butchery or medicine was assumed centered on the ridiculous brutalization of his victims' bodies. The Ripper murders are still fascinating people around the world, in part because they are a classic mystery. The case is an open and shut murder, but there is one thing missing: a resolution. He killed 5 women for what seemed like no reason, vanished, and never killed again. The legacy of Jack the Ripper. The murders committed by Jack the Ripper abruptly ceased in the fall of 1888, but even more than a century later, Londoners were still demanding answers. The continuous investigation, which has given rise to a thriving industry of books, movies, television shows, and historical tours, has encountered a number of challenges, including a dearth of supporting evidence, a wide range of false information and testimony, and stringent Scotland Yard restrictions. Even now, guided tours of the murder location and a plethora of Jack the Ripper paraphernalia show how much money London has made off the phenomena. On this subject, numerous books have been written, and a number of films have been made that are based on Jack the Ripper legend. For more than 120 years, and probably for many more to come, Jack the Ripper has been the focus of news articles. Thanks for watching. What do you think could have happened? Do comment your thoughts on the story's sound off in the comment section below. Be sure to hit that subscribe button so we can keep you up to date with the latest in mystery shelves.